Close your eyes and imagine a time when pain wasn't just a consequence, it was the main goal. A time when torture was used not just for punishment, but to spread fear and control entire populations. People gathered to witness public executions and tortures as if they were entertainment. In this video, we take you deep into the dark corners of history, exploring some of the most twisted torture devices ever created by human hands. Let's begin with the Judas Cradle. Invented in 16th century Spain, this device was as cruel as it was creative. A wooden pyramid-shaped seat stood tall. Victims were tied and slowly lowered onto its sharp point, usually targeting extremely sensitive parts of the body. The weight of the victim's own body did the rest. It could cause extreme tearing, bleeding, and infections. Sometimes victims were kept in this position for hours or days, leading to an incredibly slow and painful death. Some sources say it was used not only to punish but to humiliate people accused of heresy or witchcraft. Next, we have the infamous Iron Maiden. While its exact historical use is debated, the image it leaves in our minds is unforgettable. It was a tall metal coffin shaped like a human figure, filled with inward-pointing spikes. Once the victim was placed inside, the door would shut, driving spikes into the body, but not deep enough to kill quickly. Instead, the person would bleed slowly in darkness, trapped in silence and unimaginable pain. Some believe this was more myth than fact, but even so, the idea has become a symbol of medieval cruelty. Now, let's talk about the rack, perhaps the most famous torture device of all time. It was simple in design, but brutal in effect. Victims were tied by their wrists and ankles to rollers at either end of a wooden frame. As the rollers turned, the body would be stretched more and more. Joints popped, muscles tore, limbs dislocated. Eventually, the body would be pulled so far apart that it could no longer function. It was used widely in ancient Greece and Rome, and continued through the Middle Ages. Confessions were often extracted under the unbearable pain of the rack, even if the person was innocent. Another horrifying device was the Spanish tickler, also known as the cat's paw. This was a handheld claw made of metal designed to tear through skin and muscle. Torturers would use it to rake across the body, arms, legs, chest, sometimes even the face, ripping flesh with every stroke. In some stories, small bells were attached to mock the victim's screams. Though this may have been a symbolic detail added later, it was mainly used on prisoners accused of treason or blasphemy, often in front of crowds to send a message. There were also more psychological torture devices, like the heretic's fork, a metal rod with sharp prongs on both ends, placed between the chin and chest or neck and jaw. Victims couldn't move their heads, speak, or even sleep without piercing their own flesh. It didn't always kill, but it broke people mentally. Silence became their only way to survive. These devices remind us of a time when justice was often twisted into cruelty. They weren't just tools, they were messages of power, fear, and control. But even in those darkest times, stories of resistance and survival have always emerged. If you're fascinated by the darker side of history and the strange inventions humans have created, hit that subscribe button and join our journey through the past. Leave a comment below, telling us which device shocked you the most, or if there's another one we should cover in the next video. And don't forget to like and share this video to keep the history alive.